Champions Extreme Thunder, and you're listening to the Smack Raw podcast, baby.
Hey folks, welcome to the Smack Raw podcast, a wrestling recap show where we're covering all your WWE, AEW, NXT recaps, reviews, pay-per-view predictions. It's Kyle. Almost went solo this morning, but I am joined by Vince. Hence why we're a little late to the 10 o'clock call, but it's all good. We're here. I don't think we ever make the 10 o'clock call.
I don't think we ever do. I think there's always something going on because last week RN was the one holding us up, and then this time it was me. So I had a late night and almost missed the scheduled meeting.
Yeah, I was sweating, buddy. I was like, all right, I'm about to shoot one of these Wrestle Talk Raw in about 4-minute videos.
Honestly, I was surprised you didn't just give me a call because honestly, I'm a heavy sleeper sometimes. So I'll just sleep through some stuff. And I messed up because I set my alarm, but the volume on my alarm was very, very fucking low, so I barely heard it.
Yeah. So. No, I didn't want to bug you. It's just a podcast. Like I said, we do so many of these a week. It's never going to be a big deal if one gets missed, particularly. But anyways, yeah, we are Wrestling Recap, folks. You know the deal by now. You can find us on most of your streaming and podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, hit that download button. These are all very free ways you can really help out the show, help a couple guys move their stuff along and pursue their creative endeavors. So yeah, make sure to drop a like. We are streaming live. If you jump in the live chat with us, we got a tool. Doesn't matter if you're watching us on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. You can chat with us and we'll be able to react, answer your questions, and give you a shout out on the air. So make sure you go ahead and join in on the show. We love having you guys. SmackDown, we had a lot of fan participation on SmackDown with RN. Had a bunch of fun, man. I was very excited. I was really happy with SmackDown when we went off the air. RN's the dude. But we're here to talk about Raw, of course. And I got to tell you, man, I said it on SmackDown. I think WWE is falling into this groove with their empty arena shows. They're starting to find out what works, what's entertaining. Are they blowing you away? No. But are they complete duds? No. They're decent shows. They feel like legitimate programming now and not overly desperate, I would say. I'm not sure exactly how I'd word it. It's good. I like it. It's all right, man. I think we lost Vince's audio. Okay, that explains. He normally cuts me off by now. But yeah, like I said, Raw is coming along with the empty arena show. We'll go ahead and kick it off, and Vince will chime in here at some point whenever he gets his audio issues fixed. But which means I'm going to need a co-host. If you're in the live chat, definitely drop some questions, hit me up, make some comments. I'm going to need someone to bounce off of while Vince is over here just struggling with his camera. Oh, man, Botch Fest. We're only 3 minutes into the show, Vince. God damn it. All right. We kicked off Raw today or last night. Oh, by the way, last night, happy 420 for anybody that celebrates that. I know that's kind of a big thing, apparently. And I every year it's a big thing on all the social medias, and I noticed last night, man, this pandemic must be wearing people out because I didn't see too much talk about people celebrating the holiday. But we kicked off the show with Drew McIntyre coming out, cutting a promo, and talking about his win and talking about how he said he'd take on all comers. But he's, of course, addressing the Seth Rollins stuff where Seth Rollins jumped him at the end of last week. And he says, I could make Seth jump through a bunch of hoops, but instead I'm just going to challenge him. So Drew McIntyre lays out a challenge to Seth Rollins, which for Money in the Bank for the championship, and Seth responds later in the show. What did you think of it, Vince? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, it was pretty good. Selena Vega comes out. Obviously, Selena Vega is the thorn in McIntyre's ass. I believe they lay out the challenge for McIntyre to take on. There we go. You back?
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yeah, so
Okay, sorry. I apologize for that. That's very unprofessional of me. So I realized that I didn't have my snowball connected, so I just had this mic just for as a prop. So I tried to switch that mid sentence and couldn't figure it out.
You
We're
completely
still
botched it.
completely botched it, but overall, what was the first question?
Nothing, man. It was just the opening segment of
Gotcha.
McIntyre laying the challenge to Rollins and Vega coming out saying that McIntyre's going to take on Garza in the main event tonight. They try to get Andrade to jump McIntyre, but he thwarts the attack and lays out Andrade with, I think, 2 Claymore kicks. Um, yeah, not gonna lie, we'll jump into a little bit of this stuff. Uh, boy, I feel like they've made Zelina Vega's stable for Drew McIntyre's Whipping Boys. Essentially, is what's going on. It's
Uh,
starting to give that feel, that vibe. Remember when who was it that was like taking on the tag team champions in handicap matches and squashing them?
I don't know about that, but if it sounds reminiscent of when Roman was taking on the League of Nations.
Yeah,
That and he was just knocking them down one by one. They were just formed just to be a thorn in his side, which apparently that's who
that's
Selena is to
word for word. Yeah,
yeah.
McIntyre said that she was a
Um
thorn in his ass.
I the one thing that now seeing 2 weeks of this stable, like early on, obviously it's still early, it could just flip a switch and then right the course, right
Yeah,
the ship. But right now, the one thing I didn't like is for one, like Selena's like, go and help him. And Austin Theory's like, no, I'm not doing that. And then Angel Garza's like, no, I'm not doing that. And it's like, why? Like, why aren't you helping? It's like that was the plan, wasn't it? Like, aren't you following her lead? If you're not following her lead, then what's the point of the stable? And
yeah,
then last week, their leader, or I thought it was their leader. It looks like Selena's the leader, not Andrade. Andrade takes a loss to the champion. Then this week, Austin Theory loses and Angel Garza loses. The only one that gets to win is Andrade. I'm starting to think that this faction shouldn't have formed last week. It should have slowly been built up because of their struggles, and then Selena brings them together because individually they're not succeeding and they need each other to succeed.
yeah. Well, when's the last time WWE had well-paced storylines?
Otis and Mandy is the
Uh,
last time I
the
can
last
think of
time. Yeah,
but they fired that writer, so it might be a
we'll
while.
see. Yeah, we'll see where that goes now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first of the 3 qualifying Money in the Bank matches comes up next. It's Alistair Black taking on Austin Theory. They allowed this match to play out for a bit. They did. It wasn't. I was on the fence whether or not I was thinking. I mean, we pretty much knew this was Alistair Black's match. I'm pretty sure that wasn't a question. I think the question was, is it going to squash Austin Theory, or are we going to get a good highlight of the young prospect? And
Mm-hmm.
Austin Theory showed up, man. He showed up. They had a good match. It was entertaining. Black hit him with a hell of a black mass that definitely collided with the side of Theory's head. It looked brutal. But the real MVP of this match was Zelina Vega on commentary, and oh man, they can't say enough good things about that. Uh, I feel like I I think it's pretty obvious WWE heard the criticism about King because I barely heard a fucking word King said this week. Like, I really didn't hear much from him. I didn't hear any stupid one-liners. Now, granted, I wasn't glued to my TV, so maybe one or two flew over
Right.
the fence. But I did hear Zelina Vega drop the line, "Who doesn't like a woman on top?" And I was like, "Oh God, that's such an opening for King." And I didn't hear his response, but she responded to King and then called him like disgusting or something.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because
Yeah.
that was the only interaction I saw notably with King. Later on,
I Yeah, no, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say later on, of course, we got a repeat spot, and we'll get into the match when it comes, but it's kind of relevant. We got the repeat spot of Akira Tozawa doing that running senton, and King was noticeably silent. He had nothing for that spot. He didn't say a damn word. Oh man, I was tickled. I know the criticism and backlash made its way to him. I saw one person that was funny. They said they said only the woke people will really know that King's just trying to get himself uh, sent home because he's 70 years old and he shouldn't be out right now. So he's intentionally trying to sabotage himself so they'll send him home. I thought,
Oh man.
yeah, I thought that was a funny way to look at it. Of course, it's not true, but
No, but it's a funny take.
yeah, it's a funny take, man. It's a much lighter take. Something that wasn't funny or lighthearted was Shayna Baszler's match with Indy Hartwell. Hartwell was in the women's ladder match, wasn't she?
No, she wasn't. You're confusing her with Chelsea Green from that's who you're confusing her
Are you
with.
sure?
Yeah, definite. She hasn't really debuted on NXT TV just yet. She is a recent signing,
Yeah.
and honestly, with her, this is actually just kind of like what they've been doing with a lot of the other talents that haven't been on TV. They put them on Raw because they need hands and need bodies, and that's honestly where it
Need
is.
the enhancement talent is what they need. Yeah.
I like her though. She has a future.
Yeah. This was essentially a repeat of last week's Baszler beatdown on Sarah Logan. I wouldn't even call this a match. Baszler ends up repeating the same spot where she stomps the arm. The ref doesn't take any time though. Like it's like the ref sees the spot and instantly calls for the bell, when you would think, the ref would ask the competitor like, "Can you continue?" or something along the lines, instead of just assuming they're injured. But that's a small complaint. We knew what the match was for. Baszler leaves through the crowd, or well, lack thereof, again, only to return with a ladder. And as the trainers were tending to Indy, she threw her into the stairs, propped her arm up in the ladder, and crushed it. Do you think that they're gonna play these up like she's actually breaking arms, or are they just gonna use like injured loosely instead?
I mean, it'd be a nice little thing for her to do because given that she's not chasing the title and you got to get her heat back somehow. And the one way you could do that is by going around and injuring the lower, like, ranking wrestlers in the division. She basically took Sarah Logan out of WWE one way or another.
Right.
And then now, like, Indy Hartwell is someone who doesn't get seen on either NXT or main roster. Just take out one by one, get more vicious every week. And honestly, that's what you need from Shayna Baszler. You needed her to be like a vicious badass, kind of like Samoa Joe when he was just out there just murdering people left and right. That's what she needs to do. I think this is perfect. And then it's leading up into this new Money in the Bank type style match. I think it leads perfectly into it because there's a legitimate threat in that match, and you can't just sit there and be like, oh, like it won't be too goofy. Like it has to have some serious points, and I think Shayna's going to add that because she's actually going to be out there injuring certain wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to play the broken arm though, because if you say that she's breaking arms, then you actually have to have like 4 to 6 weeks of planning for that wrestler with said broken arm, and I don't think WWE can think that far into the future.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like, oh man, what if we need another enhancement match? 2 weeks down the road, we can't do it if they have a broken arm. Yeah. So, hey, your boys Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Their entrance is kind of cool. Cedric's joining Ricochet for his music. How do you feel about two wrestlers with individual themes, and then one of them has to kind of ditch his and just join the others?
I prefer that over the alternative, which has been recent. The mashup, they just flip back and it wouldn't even be good mashups like Rated RKO or Jericho. It would be like terrible mashups like what we had with Kabuki Warriors before they got
Austin
their new
Kairi Sane's was notably bad.
Honestly, this is
also Baron Corbin with his music and then the Regal music. That's terrible too. That's god awful.
I mean, like they're both good, but once you pair them together, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish they'd stick to one of them. Like, just give him the Regal music throughout the entirety of his entrance. I think it works, just like a King Booker. But going back to your question, I think this works well, it reminds me of back in the Ruthless Aggression era, because back then you got two guys would just team together and just use one theme song. Like I remember vividly.
You always
like,
kind of know who the Genetti is, though, between the two. Who they're looking at as the Genetti.
No, I think it just depends on who has the cool theme song. Whoever has the coolest theme song is going to be the one to use that one. And then as long as down the line they transition to getting their own tag team theme song, I'm okay with it. It's just stopgap.
Okay, so
But
you're telling me that William Regal's entrance was cooler than Tajiri's?
didn't they come out with Tajiri's music?
I have no idea. I was actually bluffing.
Okay.
But going back, Cedric and Ricochet take on Shane Thorne and Brendan Vink.
Which I love that Matt from the Smack and the Raw podcast, no relation, he's actually dubbed them TM62. So it's because it's literally the one member from TM61 and then another Australian guy. So they just changed the name to like the next numerical name available.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm not familiar with either of these guys. I'm familiar with the team TM61, like the name, because I remember hearing it pop up in a couple of recaps of NXT, but I never actually.
Gotcha.
I think I watched one match that they had where I think one of them may have jumped off some staging or rigging or something.
I think you're thinking like the finals of that Dusty Classic where AOP won eventually at the end. Maybe. I think that's what you're thinking.
Maybe,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was once I saw, you got two guys in the ring, didn't get their entrances. Like, okay, so they're letting Ricochet and Cedric pick up a win, and that's exactly what happened. They have a cool where they combine their finishers. You have Ricochet's recoil leads straight into Cedric Alexander's lung blower, and I was like, oh, that's a brutal one too, and it's a believable finish. Like I think it's believable. I'd rather that than Cedric setting up Ricochet for the 640.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I like the commentary just tried to give you motivation or reason as to why these two were together. They mentioned that these guys are friends long ago from the indies and they've always wanted to team together and be a tag team, but the cards never lined up, and then now it was the right time. They were both on the same roster. The tag team division was up for grabs, so they figured, let's form this tag team we've always wanted to do. And I like the motivation and reasoning behind it, even though it was just subtle. I appreciate when they do stuff like that.
Yeah. They need to drop that damn line. They ride together, they fly together. Like
they're too fly. That's
God, man. Like corniness. I get like we're trying to get kids, and they probably are like a tag team that would attract kids to the product. So maybe
right.
I mean, yeah, I guess they know their audience. Because I like them, but they're definitely not my cup of tea. I could watch Viking Raiders squash Ricochet and Cedric, 7 days a week, man, and I'd be totally
true.
Cool. But
because we're getting up there in years. I mean,
exactly.
Could you imagine Too Cool back in the day with Rikishi? I'm pretty sure I loved them back in the day. I don't know how like people.
I don't know how I would receive them nowadays. Yeah, I'd think they were. I don't know, man. I'd have a hard time. Scotty Too Hotty's from Maine, like me, so. That was one big thing for me. I was always cheering for her because Maine doesn't really produce a lot of like famous people. You know what I mean? So like we hang on to anybody. Like right now, we've been riding Stephen King's coattails for like 40 years, man.
Man, I would too. I would too.
That's our big celebrity. Actually, funny fact. Stephen King lives right in the center of the city of Bangor, which is my hometown. And he's not like gated off or nothing. And as a kid, he welcomed like all the trick-or-treaters to his house. I've actually trick-or-treated to Stephen King's house like several years in a row.
Nice little Easter egg.
Yeah, it's not as scary. It's not as scary as you'd think. He's got a creepy fence, but it's just an old guy in a nice wooden house, man. Nice. Anyways, back to the show. Kairi, Sane, and Asuka were interviewed backstage. Dude, Asuka has become like the most hilarious person. Like because of these empty arenas, and they were just like I don't know where the direction came from, but they obviously know what they've got, man. Because Asuka kills it every time she gets on the mic. I can't tell you what she said. It was something along the lines that Kairi's ready for Nia, and then no one's ready for Asuka at Money in the Bank. But just them singing or like humming a tune in their entrance and then dancing off frame and singing, humming a tune. It was like a damn cartoon, man. They're hilarious. I don't know a word they say, but they make me laugh every time. every damn time. I gotta check out Asuka's YouTube channel. I wonder if that's actually fun to watch.
It's relatively hilarious. Like I was surprised at how like hilarious it was. I watched an episode where she just orders Uber Eats or Grubhub or whatever, and I'm over here glued to my television screen watching this woman order her Thai food and then wait for it because she's that charismatic. And then afterwards I watched the video where she goes to this arcade and then she goes like to every single game and she starts playing, and then ironically enough she gets to like the basketball hoop one and she's terrible at it, and she's like, I suck, I'm no good. She's very charming. She's very charming. I love her.
It's the reason why, man, you like these people, they make it, man.
Yeah, man.
We'll kind of condense all these segments into one. We had this weird thing. So it was, people were speculating whether we were going to get a breakup angle between Bobby Lashley and Lana on this show. We didn't get it. Instead, we got this build for Bobby to flip tires. It was over the course of, I think, 3 promos. Bobby Lashley, he does the mic time. It honestly struck me that first segment, like, it's a little dark, but like maybe some domestic abuse or violence, because like Bobby Lashley is on screen cutting his promo, and then you see him like notably have to motion to Lana off screen several times, like, get out here, like, come here, do your bit, like, you know what I mean? And then eventually she comes out and she's like, look at my Bobby, like, and I'm like, something's underlying here right now. Like, I wonder if there'll be like backstage footage of them like arguing next week. Like, too bad the hacker can't work both Raw and SmackDown, because that would be terrific.
Yeah, he should be able to cross brands.
Yeah. But the other segments, Bobby Lashley just flipping tires. I mean, there's really no way to. It was just, he flips one tire and he's like, okay, any athlete, any world-class athlete could flip this tire. And he's like, but then he motions to a larger tire. And then he's like, but I can flip this tire, whatever. And then the next segment, he struggles with the tire, but on his third attempt, he flips it. And it's just like, yay me. And then they cut off, and that was it. It was like 3 segments all night to build for a man to flip a tire. There was no drama. The emptiness, there was definitely something missing from it. But it was low key. Like, I feel like this segment was so bad it was good. Maybe that's me digging for it, man. That's me digging for it.
No, I totally agree with you, man. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The one thing that accomplished is that you got a little personality out of Bobby Lashley, and it wasn't just so stiff. Like, had he been so stiff and like so generic robotic about it, it would have like felt flat.
Like you had Lana, like doing the promo with him just waiting to flip a tire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. Nothing was accomplished in terms of storyline or his character or his wrestling career. But I feel better this morning knowing that Bobby Lashley can flip a tire. Like that has helped my week.
Somewhere there's a positive to find in this segment.
Yes, always.
Right. Boy, we go from something that we actually found some charm out of to something that was downright scary, and that was Nia Jax taking on Kairi, saying, boy, Nia Jax knows how to eat her fucking words, man. Talking about being unsafe. We all know Nia Jax has the, let's just say it, man, she has a reputation of maybe hurting some people, which was all hilarious when she snitched on Ronda Rousey for hurting Alexa Bliss, because obviously everybody was like, dude, you were the last person to be throwing shade right now. She comes out. She has this match with Kairi, Sane. Kairi's trying to get that W back. But the spot I'm talking about is Jax has her up for essentially a buckle bomb. But she drops Kairi shy of the turnbuckles, and Kairi lands super awkward on the bottom turnbuckle. It was very, very jarring, the first view of it. I think Kairi was fine. But
she was totally fine.
Yeah, but it looked god awful. I would really not believe that was intentional. I don't see them risking, like, that just feels like a risky spot. Like the buckle bomb itself. Remember when they injured Sting? They did away with the buckle bomb for months.
Yeah.
Seth, no one was doing them, and then they slowly transitioned it back like the curb stomp. But yeah, I wouldn't think that was intentional at all. power bombing onto the bottom turnbuckle.
I think maybe she was supposed to be power bombed into like the middle or top part turnbuckle, and I think she just kind of missed the cue. And look, man, Kairi's
there's
a
no missing the
professional, man.
cue. Kairi didn't have control over her body, like how far she was.
No,
thrown.
I meant Nia just missed the target. Basically.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and speculate. For all we know, that was the exact spot. But unfortunately, Nia Jax just has this
online,
reputation.
Man. That's not the narrative online right now. Boy,
no, it's not, because
people came out with their torches and pitchforks for Nia's head again, man.
Like, man, I was all for Nia calling out Ronda if she was in fact being unsafe and injuring Alexa Bliss and causing her to get concussions. But like, how are you one to like publicly call someone out for being unsafe, and then every time she botches something and it's mentioned, she like kind of like is cringingly like proud of it. She's like almost proud of it. Like she was proud of this whole thing.
I remember when she almost fucking killed Charlotte. She missed damn Charlotte's spot for the moonsault, and so Charlotte essentially moonsaulted from the top turnbuckle all the way down to the floor with no one to catch her, and then Nia Jax, you could tell, kind of in a panic for missing the spot, fucks up a shoulder breaker and essentially tombstones Charlotte on the goddamn mat. Like 2 spots in one match, and that was, yeah, boy, I don't know. Hey, look, man, I don't work for the business. I can't tell Nia Jax to stop wrestling. I don't know. All I know is
man, she's not gonna be done until she wants to be done, because she got that lineage, she got that family like reputation that will keep her in the business of WWE as long as possible.
I think she walks around out bad. I'll call my cousin. I will call my cousin.
Oh, dude. Dude, there are legit Total Diva episodes where she does that shit. Like, I swear I've seen an episode or two where she's like, I'll call my cousin The Rock right now. Yeah. Like, do you know who my cousin is? And it's like, Nia, god damn. Like, it's like, if, like, man, this is just us having fun and not taking it too seriously. But, like, man, if I was Vince, I'd be like, okay, Nia, sit home. Stay home.
Well, speaking
I do want to
ask
ask you.
So speaking of someone who else is staying at home, is Seth Rollins, who got to respond to McIntyre's Money in the Bank. Sorry, man, I couldn't resist that segue.
No, it's fine.
What do you think of this culty-esque, giant throne, weird ass art? Rollins. His audio was pretty low, wasn't it? Like he didn't have.
Yeah, it was. It was. I remember like thinking that like, man, why is he talking so slow and so softly? Like I wasn't sure if that was him by design or if that was the audio on his side. Maybe he just didn't record it properly. But I don't know. I wasn't really feeling the feel of it. It felt like.
Well,
I don't know. Like
the premise of the promo was that him and Drew McIntyre have had parallel careers, almost with the exception of Drew having to go on excursion. Essentially, from Drew's return to WWE and Seth's run, they've pretty much had the same run.
Right.
You know, conquering NXT, and then they're overcoming Brock Lesnar. But Seth Rollins highlights the difference is Seth is a leader, and he's led factions.
Right.
It's funny they don't show the Shield. Do you think that was just pettiness? They just can't allow. Well, right now they don't want to show Roman Reigns. Apparently, the news, like the word is that Vince has banned all mention of Roman Reigns. So if he's trying to censor Roman and Dean or John Moxley, because I was like, when I think of Seth leading a group, I'm sorry, but the Monday Night Messiah group is not the first one that pops into mind. You know?
No, exactly not. I mean, if you're talking about being in factions, they should really brought up 3MB. That's what I was waiting for them to bring up 3MB.
We'll see that. But Seth's whole thing was he was a leader, and McIntyre was answering to Heath Slater back then.
Hey man, that man just got fired. Man, go buy his shirt.
Yes, but anyways. The promo just got across that Seth accepts the challenge. It's going to be Seth and Drew at Money in the Bank. They're going to be wrestling on top of Titan Towers for the WWE Championship. I wonder how they're going to drive there. You think they're going to do what the Viking Raiders did? They're gonna.
Hey man, if they do, man. Okay. Is it wrong? Am I discrediting myself by saying that I enjoyed that segment? Am I discrediting myself as a podcaster or as a wrestling fan by saying I actually like that?
Oh my god, I love how CBS Sports wrote it down. Just
Uh-huh.
says a video of Viking Raiders driving a car and eating turkey legs was shown.
So the thing about it is that yes, it totally takes away their mistake of being fucking like Viking badasses like they used to be,
So
like in
what's
the
in question
independent.
is it's Eric is coming up with, like, those Irish pub songs where
Yeah,
they come up with, he does like a little one liner and then they both chime in screaming Viking Raiders, and they both
Viking Raiders.
yeah. It was absolutely silly. Nothing bad about it, but completely stripped away their fucking mystique in like a 2-minute segment. They went from looking like the most badass hardcore tag team on the Raw roster to
Were they
looking
really
like a
that?
bunch of jocks, like just two jocks who or metal friends eating turkey, man.
Look,
Like,
man,
like it
the
just
way I
slightly
took
more
it,
serious. They're like Heavy Machinery 2.0 now.
yeah, that's one way, but they're more
Yeah.
legit because they're actual former champions wherever they're freaking gone. Honestly, I think this added a little bit more layer of relatability and made them a little bit more likable for my liking. Because
Yeah.
for me, especially when they got to NXT, I never got the hype behind War Machine or Viking Raiders or whatever they were called. And now, like, yeah, I'm slowly warming up to them because I know whenever they go into a match, they're going to be really, really good. But outside, I didn't really care for their like gimmick or their characters or stuff. Man, if they do this, if they keep the badass stuff inside the ring and then outside, you just see them being buddies and palling around, which is probably what they're doing all the time. And I might relate to them and like them a little bit better. Just look at New Day. New Day are goofy and silly outside the ring, but when it's time, or even Usos, they have
That's
their
true.
goofy sides. And then once it gets to the ring, when stuff needs to be serious, they get serious. And I feel like it's okay for a wrestler to be serious and then flip the switch.
Hey man, yeah, it was all right. I didn't hate it. I wasn't sitting there yelling it. It's not like when they debuted as the Viking Experience and everyone was like freaking the fuck out.
They survived Viking experience, they'll survive
They'll
this.
survive. Yeah. Oh man. Someone else who survived was Apollo Cruz. He took on MVP. Apollo Cruz got a win.
Yes.
The end
My
times
boys are
truly
winning.
here. Uh, Holy shit, man! I was like, dude, I can't figure out how do you got two losers. Who wins? Like, I was halfway convinced, man, it was gonna be a double count out.
Nah, man. I knew from the get go. I on live on the show. I bet RN that Apollo Cruz was gonna win because I saw the writing on the
He
wall.
owes you
Like
$5.
he does owe me $5. He almost forgot about that bet. I had to remind him in the group chat. I'm like, yo, hey, $5. Like, what? Remember that bet? And he's like, oh fuck, you know. And he was actually saying like, look, man, it wasn't coming from a place of me hating Apollo because he actually liked Apollo, but it's just that they've always conditioned us to feel like this guy is always going to lose. And I saw a lot of people saying this on Twitter, saying that I like Apollo, but you have to undo years of conditioning us to think that this guy is a loser and he's constantly going to come up short. That like it's gonna take hard work for us to respectively believe that this guy can be a legitimate threat to win a match going forward.
Anyways, yeah, it was an all right match. Like I said, there was nothing too crazy. Who they said MVP, because MVP was heard trash talking and I missed it. Was
Yes.
They said he was name dropping people.
Yeah. So he had him like almost like in a camel clutch position, and he was like just wailing him on the side of the face. And every time he hit him, he's like, "Oh, you don't deserve to be in the ring with me. You're not on my level. I've been in the ring with guys like Rey Mysterio, Kane, Christian, and who I forgot who else he mentioned.
Okay, so
Jeff Hardy."
So he was name dropping like past superstars and stuff that they probably gave him the okay ahead of time. You know.
I don't think man, MVP just says YOLO, man. I feel like he legitimately just lives his life that way.
Yeah. It was decent, man. Apollo Cruz does need a new finisher, though. I hate his finisher. I hate that backdrop little, like, turnaround power bomb. It's one thing if you are, like, a beast like Brock Lesnar and you can toss guys around. But, like, he struggled with MVP, and MVP isn't even that big of a guy.
Nah, but he's a little bit more husky nowadays.
Yeah, but what I mean is like what's gonna happen when you have like if like Apollo Crews was to take on and have to like beat Sheamus or
Hmm.
anybody else, any like the really big fellas. Move ain't gonna look
Yeah.
that good no matter what. Like he needs a new finisher.
He needs something. I totally agree with you, but he's miles ahead of what his finisher was when he initially debuted in NXT. I don't know if you know this or not, but back then he was just doing the military press and then the backflip, and that
And
was
then the
how he was
standing moonsault,
the
yeah.
standing moonsault. So like that's how he was actually finishing matches. And Triple H was actually the one that gave him the idea to do like that back
The
body
backdrop and
powerbomb
the power
press.
bomb.
He needs something else. You're completely right. That should be something, a transitional move that he does. I've never been a fan of his finishes. I think he definitely needs something that's unique and stands out, and you can hit like this because, come on.
Yeah. I know you're trying to get across that he's like a powerful guy, but that doesn't mean you have to give him like something that's so required.
He's athletic too. Give him
Yeah.
something like that he like Ricochet's recoil, like something that's quick to the point and hits it right away.
Yeah. What do you guys think that he should do in the chat? What do y'all think?
Give him the attitude adjustment. You know,
There you
he's
go.
built
Yeah,
like
it takes-
Cena.
Yeah, it takes Cena's attitude adjustment. There you go. What do we have up next? Oh, Ruby Riot was interviewed backstage. She essentially said that she carried the Riot Squad. You've heard this a million times when a faction breaks up. One person comes out and says they were the star and everyone else was just backup. And that's kind of the gist of Ruby Riot here. Did leave to her match with Liv Morgan, and it was a decent. It was a quick match, and Morgan won it with a springboard flatliner. I was surprised by this. I was really
Smooth.
thinking, yeah, it was good looking, and but I was thinking Ruby was the one that they were positioning to kind of move forward. I wonder with Sarah Logan leaving if she was to be involved with all.
Did
of
you hear the
this.
rumors that supposedly she was going to be coming back to Raw?
Yeah, I heard that. That's why I said That's why I was listening for them to say if
They
Baszler
mentioned her for
broke
like the
arm.
first 90 minutes of the show. That was the most mention she's had on Raw since her debut. It took her leaving WWE for her to be mentioned that much.
From what I gathered, a lot of people backstage, or at least there was some significant people backstage, raised a lot of hell and went to bat for her. Is what I read into. Yeah, or like I said, I don't know, man. I think a couple of the people they released might be coming back quicker than we think.
I felt like that was going to be the case. Like even Drake Maverick.
I think Vince probably did a lot of that just for like a conference call, and then like a month later, he's just gonna rehire him. You know?
I hope so, man. Some of these, like especially like Drake Maverick, like I was saying, like he felt like
He's
this
still
was
in
his.
a fucking tournament. Like he's still. How do you fire a guy and be like, by the way, can you show up to work for the next couple weeks still? Like
I think that might have been just him because he never got a chance to actually wrestle like that on WWE TV. So he's like, I want to show what I can do.
But still,
because everywhere I've
but still,
yeah,
it's so
I totally get it.
awkward. That's so weird, man.
You know what it is? It's that standard WWE stuff where like, or that standard company stuff where like you're out the door, but I'm like, hey, but before you leave, can you cover so and so shift?
Yeah,
You know that's what that felt like. It's like a company taking
Sitting there
advantage of
steaming.
somebody's like, yeah, that's what it was. The company taking advantage of a person.
yeah. We'll see. Maybe I don't know, man. I'm good to see. I'm happy to see Riot Squad completely not interact with each other no more. I feel like if Sarah Logan did come back, and you
Right.
have these three facing off, make it quick. Just get them into like a triple threat match at a pay per view, and then do something
Bank.
individually with them. Maybe pair them up in different tag teams or something, but do something different with them.
So what would you say is next for Liv Morgan? Because like her and someone else that had a match later on, we'll talk about her when we get there. But there's like two big names in the women's division. Three if you count Kairi Sane that aren't in that Money in the Bank ladder match, and doesn't look like they have a feud lined up going forward. Like
I don't know
What
who I
would-
would feud Liv with, man. She strikes me as a lower tier on the
Yeah.
roster, but she also strikes me like they want to do something with her.
like Carmella back in the day, remember?
Yeah. So it's tough. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Ray took on Buddy Murphy. This is the one where I was definitely wrong. I thought they were going to give Murphy a big win over Ray, but
No, I knew it was going to be Ray.
yeah. Ray ended up winning. Great match, by the way, too. The story of the match was early into it. Ray dislocates his finger. This is one of the advantages of there being no audience, is you have room for audible stories to play out, because you can hear Ray rolls out the ring towards the camera, and you can hear him complaining about his finger. And then Murphy waited no time. Just when you started to wonder like if it was legit or not, because Ray was selling it very well, Murphy came out and just destroyed Ray. Was throwing him into a ton of stuff, and then continued to work over the hand throughout the match. They were trying to build up, like, if Ray's hand is so injured, can he grip the ropes correctly to do the 619? And
yeah,
it was a decent match. It was a perfect example of storytelling within a match for it to play out. And the guys killed it. Ray ended up at one point was on the ropes, and Murphy tucked his head in to the turnbuckle to set him up for a super kick while he was locked up. But Ray actually like mule kicked backwards into Murphy's face.
I love that. I haven't seen that ever.
Yeah, I was like, it seems so obvious now looking at it too. You know what I mean? But Ray ends up hitting a Canadian Destroyer that leads him into a 619, hits the frog splash. I realize that Ray's got to have hella cardio. Just the ending sequence alone is so much running and flipping. But yeah, he nails it. He's going on to Money in the Bank. The story for Ray is he's never won the Money in the Bank. They're touting it as like one of the accomplishments Ray's never had.
I like that.
I mean, my opinion is Money in the Bank isn't designed for someone like Rey Mysterio. Money in the Bank is a heel like trophy. It works better with heels than baby faces.
It totally does. I agree with you, Kyle. I don't like to do too much agreeing on the show because then, there's no good content. But I agree with you. Like Cena being Money in the Bank, cashing in early. I think the only one that really worked was like either Daniel Bryan, but then he turned heel because of the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And then RVD because, one night stand, it made total sense for him wanting to get the title match there. And he just like said it in advance.
I think with a baby face, it'd have to be you'd have to give it to a face that is not in the title picture. It's their excuse. Like it's the storytelling that closes the gap of how this person never is going to get like Heath Slater. It makes sense if Heath Slater won it one day because, Heath Slater's never going to get a world title picture. So he gets the Money in the Bank at that point. But, I mean, maybe that's a bad example because no one would even begin to believe Heath is going to win it.
Hey, he just has to go on his excursion and then come back and be all jacked just like Jinder and Drew, and he'll get that title. He'll get that.
Watch Heath come back and he's like 260 pounds.
Hey, man, pure muscle. Jacked.
Eating horse meat. Oh,
yeah. Going back to the match, though, honestly, I got why people want Murphy to win this, but look, here's the thing: he's still an underling to Seth Rollins, and there's no way because they're not gonna. Seth's not gonna get the title. If Seth was gonna get the title and then Murphy wins Money in the Bank, then that's a perfect story element to tell right there. But Murphy is nowhere near that title if Seth's not gonna be anywhere near that title right now. So I knew he was gonna win this match. This wasn't a traditional ladder match. It's gonna be this weird new configuration of the ladder match, and you need vets that can tell a story. And Ray is a vet that can tell a story, and he's someone that can believably win that match. And unfortunately, Murphy does not feel like he could win that match. I believe Apollo Crews has a better chance to win that match than Murphy for the sole reason that Murphy is an underling and he's the second in command to Seth Rollins as opposed to Apollo Crews, who is his own man.
Well, second in command, he's the only one left. The damn AOP out with injury, man.
He's still second in numerical order. He's still number two.
Still number two.
He's still
number two out of two.
Hey, do not underestimate that value of number two out of two people. I am the number two in this show, and I value that position. I value that ranking. I take it very seriously, as you can clearly tell by my getup.
Oh my gosh. Andrade took on Akira Tozawa. This match, I was more glued to this match. Oh, wait, no. Excuse me. Before we got there. Charlotte Flair took on Kaden Carter. Kaden Carter, that's the one that was in the ladder match. I'm sorry.
No, she wasn't in the ladder match.
She wasn't in the ladder match there either.
No.
Was she in a qualifying match?
She was in the gauntlet match. She was in the gauntlet match to qualify, and she had a qualifying match before that. So she had two opportunities to get it into the ladder match, but she didn't succeed. Okay. But she's a face that's been showing up more regularly on NXT.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she came out to do the job for Charlotte. Charlotte absolutely destroyed it. I love. Oh man, I love the opening of this match. I love Charlotte grabbing the ropes. Like, hold on, Caden, and she has to stretch. And as she stretches, she just turns around and boots Caden in the fucking mush.
Oh, that was great. That was so.
I,
It
I love.
reminded
I
me.
like. I think she was yelling. Charlotte was saying something like, "You got to do your homework." You know what I mean? You got to do your homework. Like, oh, I loved it, man.
I feel like we've always been comparing her to Ric Flair, but right now, honestly, she feels like the female Triple H more than Ric Flair. Like the way she carries herself in the ring, that feels like something early 2000s Evolution Triple H would do. Like just toy around with like a young Sheldon Benjamin or like a young Randy Orton or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
feel like that, like in obviously,
Well,
Triple
Ric
H
Flair was the dirtiest player in the game, and Charlotte never has to rely on cheating. Charlotte beats you to beat you. Like, she doesn't.
But when she does it more or less just to like it's just another tool in her toolbox, which is what I love about Charlotte is that
Hey, hold
without
on,
cheating she
my
can beat you.
doorbell's going off. Hold on one second, man.
No worries, no worries.
Go ahead and talk about this match in Charlotte some more. I'll be right back.
I mean, there wasn't too much to add to the match, but like I was saying, I do appreciate the work that she's adding to it, the character work. She's coming into her own. She's really like heading peak Charlotte level. It's still a little jarring for me to see her as the NXT Women's Champion on Raw. But we'll see what happens because she's going to be on NXT as well. I don't know. Part of me kind of felt it like it was Bobby Lashley holding the ECW title back in the day in the early stages of ECW once upon a time. It didn't really resonate with me. Like her in the ring, she is fantastic. She is great. Her character, she knows who she is. She gets it. But yeah, it's just like outside of it, her as the NXT Women's Champion is just still very jarring to me. So basically, it is a quick win for Charlotte. But now, like I don't know, me personally, I kind of want to see more from Kaden Carter. Like we've been seeing her more and more frequently, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I like to see more Kaden Carter. She's really getting improving in the ring. She's still a little green, but there's something there. Definitely something there. And you're in the ring with Charlotte. You'll improve. You get better. Next up, we had Andrade versus Akira Tozawa, and like Kyle was mentioned, I think he was gonna go into the territory of that. He was paying attention to this match mostly to see if Jerry would say something like disparaging or said something he shouldn't say.
You're talking about.
Am I right?
You're talking
Tozawa.
about watching the Tozawa match, just waiting for Jerry to say something stupid.
Yeah, that's actually where I was going with him.
Okay.
I think that's where Kyle was going, is that he was glued to his TV screen just to see and hear if Jerry was going to say something.
Ramen noodle one fucking time, Jerry. I swear to God.
Just you're looking for any reason to cancel it.
Oh, roll up the Full Sail or PC, man. Yeah, my doorbell's going off. It was my 2-year-old. Apparently, my 2-year-old was locked outside.
Oh wow! How does that happen?
No, my wife and kids went to the store. They were just returning, but my kids beat her to the door.
Oh,
yeah. She was telling me how she essentially had to follow a bread trail to a store that actually had paper towels for sale.
Gotcha.
The Tyson household's got paper towels now.
That's good. That's essential to have in the household. Akira Tozawa was pretty essential too, man, because it's like he's out here, like man. He's. So one thing that I liked about commentary is that they were selling like, yeah, he lost last week, but this past Wednesday on NXT, he won his first match in the Cruiserweight tournament. So they were hyping him up, saying like, yeah, he lost last week, but he's actually picking up wins as well. He's a very dangerous threat to Andrade.
Yeah, Tozawa strikes me as a guy that I really wanted to see come into his own. And I still want to. I don't think the writing's out for him, but it feels like he's just, every time Tozawa looks like he's got, like, we could get behind him, there's someone that's just like in line ahead of him. Like he's never first in line for the title shot or for like a big push or run.
Right.
Because I love Tozawa's style. I think his damn senton bomb is up there with the coffin drop with how he throws it, man. Because he he jumps maximum height and he's just looking straight up when he does his senton, and it feels...
I would say it's just like a little bit a level a bit above the coffin drop in terms of intensity and impact when it hits, because like Darby just feels like he just throws himself and says, just Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
Where
But Darby's whole thing is he's not looking at what he's doing. He just, you're right. He throws himself, where Tozawa, at least he gets to line up his dive.
It feels like that's intentional, that's methodical, that's by design, which is what I love about him. He honestly, I would say that he's a more success than Hideo Itami in WWE. And that's what Hideo Itami was supposed to be when he came over from Japan. And I don't say this a lot, but I feel like Akira Tozawa would be a perfect fit for AEW. They don't have too many Japanese stars there other than like the women. You need more diversity in that roster. And I could clearly see him in the TNT title picture or even the world title picture, because he's charismatic, even though he doesn't speak English that well. You like in his
super charismatic.
Like, did you see his like stuff in 205 Live where he thought he was the new GM of 205 Live and he's walking around parodying Vince McMahon, telling everybody that they're fired? Yeah, it was so hilarious. If I can find YouTube clips of it, I will send it to you. They were precious, man. They were great.
We'll look it up. Either way, so what we're trying to say is Tozawa's a gem, and we need to figure out a way to push him. But I mean, hey, if Drew Gulak can get pushed up there, I think there's hope still for Tozawa too.
There's hope. Yeah. There's definitely hope.
Yeah. Andrade picks up the win using his hammerlock DDT. Andrade's the only member of his stable to pick up a victory for tonight, other than obviously Vega's just continuous victory on commentary. People are calling for Vega just to replace King, which I know is a silly joke, but I'm kind of for it.
Honestly, anyone right now would be better than King. Bring back Joe while he's rehabbing.
Christian, Renee Young.
Yes. No, Booker T. Anybody.
Booker T. Yeah, you still have the veteran old guy role filled. You know what I mean? You still have the demographic.
Or just go back to Byron Saxton and Tom Phillips. They were doing well without Jerry Lawler.
Byron Saxton was doing really well up next when he was dancing with
Street Profits.
Street Profits. Almost said Private Party. I watched the Being the Elite 200th episode last night. Dude, so good. So good.
I started watching it, but I kind of had to because it was in the middle of the afternoon. Nobody was like, I had people in the other rooms, and it was just grunting and moaning, and I'm like, yeah, let me just not watch this right now. People are gonna think I'm watching something completely different. Did
you watch the lead up to it, like the 3 or 4 parts?
Whatever? No. I haven't been able to like keep up with Being the Elite.
I dropped out a little after episode 100, but yesterday periodically I watched all the lead up videos, the whole what's it called? It's like the 4-parter. Yeah. I watched that, and that was really good. They do a Royal
Maybe
Rumble.
that's what. Maybe that's what I needed.
Yeah, you need to do that. They do a Royal Rumble, bro.
I'll check it out, man. I got plenty of time.
They do a fucking Royal Rumble. They got commentary. They have sound effects. Like it's terrific, man. I love the Being the Lead. I might go back and watch. I might go back and start watching from episode 100 to 200. Just watch the last 100 episodes, because that's what I did initially when they were leading up to episode 100. Over the course of like a couple weeks, I just binged through all the old stuff to catch up.
Some of the early episodes are kind of hard to get through, but because there's not too much content there. But overall, it was solid. It was solid.
Yeah, no, it's really good. But anyways, Street Profits coming out, dancing on the table. Byron Saxton genuinely looking like he's having a great time. I love it when Byron Saxton's allowed to have fun instead of like his early days, like when he was just like the whipping boy. Although that's a terrible analogy. But he really was. He was like the punching bag.
I just got out.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was not intentional, man. But he was there to get. He was choreographed punching bag essentially.
Yeah.
And but now it's like he's allowed to be like cringy and fun, and it's actually endearing. Like
kind of like young Michael Cole back in the day.
There you go. Yes, there you go. And Byron is having a blast. And then they're out there to announce Bianca Belair's match. Bianca comes out. She's taking on Santana Garrett. And the whole time, all you can hear is Montez Ford just cheering his wife on, like to his fullest, dancing. And I love that King chimes in, and he says, you can't be this over the top for Bianca, and like that just made me pop so much. I was like, King, it's like when Nia Jax says someone else is unsafe. You can't have King telling other people they can't be over the top.
Right.
All right, come on now.
Exactly. The one thing that I liked was when she's doing the stalling suplex, and she's like, and then you could hear, like you could tell that she heard Montez, because I like halfway through it she starts to smile and smirk. So she's like doing like squats with Santana Garrett, and then he's like EST, and then halfway through it she just starts smiling because you could tell she heard him and she appreciated him. And shout out to her, man. She makes her own gear. That gear was dope. She had like Raw all over the place. It's good, man. She's a perfect fit for Monday Night Raw.
No,
She's definitely.
I've become a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I've come around to her. Never that I didn't like her, but initially I was disinterested. Now I love Bianca. I love everything. How she's paired with Street Profits and everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
My wife loves her too.
Mm-hmm. That's the important thing, man.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if there ain't no truer truth. She won with the KOD, of course. And out came the main event: Drew McIntyre taking on Angel Garza. Garza's gonna have to take some time off, man. Heal that pretty face. He ate a boot to the head early in the match, man. Oh my god. Drew McIntyre kicked up. I can't remember what it was. If he was running the ropes and like he was gonna eat a back body drop or something, so he threw a kick up. And there was a miscue, and the bottom of McIntyre's boot completely skinned like Garza's forehead. And it looks like Garza's got road rash on his face now from that boot. And it was bleeding too. It was rough.
Yeah,
it was rough.
No, yeah, definitely. I blame this loss and the outcome of the match for them randomly changing Angel Garza's theme song, like they do with so many other. And this the second time they've done it with this guy. He had a really good theme song, then they changed it to the one he had before, and I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling it. But then you warm up to it. Now they give us another one. It's like, dude, what are you doing? You're ruining the guy. These guys are athletes, just like other sports athletes. If you ruin their routine, they will fail. Like, just look at the Jordan documentary. Like, there's perfect examples of routines being ruined and poor performances. Vince Carter went to go graduate and he lost the playoff game. Like little things like that, man. You can't change something like that and expect these wrestlers to like not get out of group. So I blame WWE for Garza's loss, and if he goes in the downward slope, it's all because of that theme song.
Yeah, man. McIntyre won with an insane Claymore kick. He hit several, but the first one he hit on Garza. Boy, that's such an awesome, simple move. It's like the reverse. It's just like a spear, But I mean, foot first. Like that's all it is, and it's beautiful when McIntyre's got a full head of steam throwing it.
Do you know the story of how he stumbled he stumbled into that?
Yeah, because he was in 3MB and his leather pants were too tight, and he just tried to big boot a guy, and he like knocked himself out.
Yeah, he ran with it, and then he just started doing it going forward. So, you can go ahead and give credit to 3MB for giving him that amazing finish.
If you watch the replay, you can see McIntyre's head hit hard on the mat. And he instantly, after throwing that boot, he has to crawl to his corner, just crawl to the corner for a tag because he is loopy as all hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. He ended up beating Garza. He ended up Claymore kicking
Austin
Theory after the match. Where was Andrade during this? What happened to Andrade? I know he was out there. He got taken out.
I think he was just watching on the outside, just like the other guys were watching him get his ass whooped earlier in the show. So there's not a total unity between Selena's group just yet. So no. she needs to get her house in order.
He strikes the Tranquilo pose, which he took for the Shawn Michael Playgirl pose. Here, I'll throw it up on the screen. Look at this. Oh my
man.
God. Like, after the match, I have it on screen, Vince. You can't see it, but
No. I'm picturing it in my mind. I'm making a mental picture.
God. After I missed this. I think I just turned the TV off or something by this point.
It was literally like the last 5 or 3 seconds before we cut.
They cut off because
like,
they're showing the breakdown with Ricochet in the bottom corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, it was hilarious. Yeah, but that was Raw. Like I said, it was easy to get through, and nothing blowing it away. I mean, if you look through CBS's grades, they like to grade their segments. Everything is like between B's and C pluses. You know what I mean? And which is fine. I mean, because then if you don't have like a segment that just sinks like a rock, then you don't need a segment that has to rise above the occasion. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the times Raw could have like an okay show, but then they've got a terrible segment like right in the middle of the show, and then that's all you can fixate on. So the fact that they can keep themselves like to a certain level of consistency makes the shows easier to watch, especially when it's 3 hours long.
And even the small stuff that you could say was bad, like that's it, like wasn't too long that it like overshadowed or you care too much about. And I'm mentioning the Bobby and Viking Raiders stuff. You know, that could be like the low point of the show, but arguably, you know, some people, I enjoyed the Viking Raiders stuff. I enjoyed the Bobby Lashley stuff. You know, just little tiny stuff, nothing too big, and it didn't really hurt the show. Didn't take away from it. They're finding their groove. I'm not getting bothered by the lack of crowd. I'm getting accustomed to these empty arena shows, and I'm looking into the bright side.
Word has it, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, did you hear about the WrestleMania stuff? They're planning just in case they can't do WrestleMania in Los Angeles next year. That's crazy.
They're gonna do like Dana White, buy a private island. Just buy a damn private island. Fly
Might
some
as well
people
at this
out there. Sign some disclosures. But yeah, that's our show. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys in the live chat. Of course, tune in later this week. You know the deal by now. We're covering all the wrestling shows throughout the week. Make sure to drop a like. It's like I said, drop a like, subscribe. It's a free way to help out the show. Maybe share it with your friends. Let them know about the Smack Draw crew. We're just a bunch of guys that like to entertain you. And tune in tonight for the Smacked Raw Wrestling. Vince's little brainchild here. I'll let you. It's your thing. Go ahead. Tell us.
So essentially, we decided to bring you guys a little bit more content to like not only YouTube but everywhere else. You know, that's what we're looking for right now. So I'm not touching 2K20 because it is a glitch fest botch, and most of the matches end up like Ricochet right there on the screen. So we went back into my old calling card of 2K19. I went ahead and took the liberty of creating the entire crew from Kyle to Sebastian to Aaron to myself. Everyone is in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to have like a mini tournament to crown our very first world champion. And me and Jay Thunder will be doing like live streams of SmackDown Wrestling Universe mode and just try to get some content out there. So tune in tonight. We're going to try to get the bugs and kinks out of the way and hopefully have a great show for you guys. Should be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. Come and join us. But like always, until next time, y'all have a good one.
There you go. That was just like a little over an hour, right?